For 10 days in the summer of 1991, the world news cycle turned its eyes here, to Ljubljana, Slovenia. Slovenia had just declared independence from Yugoslavia in late June, and what followed was a 10 days war, aptly named the 10 Days War. It saw minimal casualties on both sides, and in the end there was a peace agreement between the two sides. Yugoslavia wanted to focus its attention on Croatia and later on Bosnia, and Slovenia was allowed to leave. For those 10 days though, Ljubljana and Slovenia around it were the center of the world's attention. First, in fear of war, and finally, on July 7th, 1991, in jubilation that a new nation had been born. Today is July 7th, 2023, 32 years later. And today, the city of Ljubljana is going to be the center of our attention. We have several missions today that we are going to try to accomplish in order to see this city in the best way possible. Join us. Here, as in all other Slovenian cities apparently, they have a relief map of Ljubljana, or at least the center of it. We are here right now, and we're going to see this whole city today. Here are our goals for the day. Every time we complete one, we get 1 point. The goal is to get 10 points. First of all, we're going to walk a lot, so our goal is to get 50,000 steps. If we get 50,000 steps, that's a point. Every 10,000 steps after that, 60, 70, etc., is another point.
We also want to visit the castle on the top of the hill.
Yep, that one. We're going to get one McDonald's item that can only be found in Slovenia.
We want to find something that commemorates Tito.
Yep, like a street named after Tito, a statue, a painting, something. We want to find Jupi, which is this apparently Slovenian soda that Senad has in Utica, and we haven't found it here in this country, so we're going to attempt to find it today.
We want to find a native speaker of Bosnian, Croatian, Serbian, Montenegrin, that language group.
Yep, because definitely a lot of them live here, and we're going to find one today. We've already found a few throughout this trip, but not in Ljubljana. We want to find the word Ljubljana written on a manhole, like on a sewer grate thing. That one shouldn't be too bad.
We're each giving a monologue that has to be 30 seconds long on the history of Ljubljana,
yep.
Slovenia.
Ljubljana.
And then we get a half point.
Yeah, if Mia does one, half point. If I do one, half point. Okay, next we have this water filter. We bought it for our treks in the mountains and we never used it, so we're going to use it today. And then the final one.
Have fun.
Yeah, as long as we have fun, we'll get a point. So join us. Hopefully you have some fun too. Now let's go explore Slovenia. Goal number 1 though is not on the list. Get breakfast. Yeah, I have 2,100 steps. That's 4% of the way to 50K. Look at that Austro-Hungarian building, 1898. And there's Mia. It's a Friday here in Ljubljana, you know. The symbol of Ljubljana is a dragon, and if you're lucky, you might hear a 30-second monologue about that later. And over here is the Dragon Bridge. Zmajski most. Look at that guy. We've made a big discovery, which is, what does it say on this manhole?
Ljubljana.
Ljubljana. So now, with one of our 10 missions completed, our confidence is way boosted, and we're still on the hunt for some breakfast. All right, breakfast acquired. I got this protein shake. Mia's got some yogurt, and we got 4 protein bars for later because we need all the protein and testosterone that we can get for this. Mission today. This behind me is my favorite building in Ljubljana. I mean, look at it. You got the statue hanging off. You got the Austro-Hungarian architecture on a skyscraper. Pretty tight. So we have good news, which is that we're 4,300 steps in and Mia still doesn't hate me. So she says. The sunglasses are back on and we're walking up to the northeast side of the city to see the 10-Day War Memorial. Come with us. And we've reached downtown Ljubljana. Look at this. This is the Slovenian take on a major city. So we've crossed to the north of the train station, and it's crazy just how different this area is. More open, like it's less like a canyon of buildings, less dense. Definitely way fewer tourists. Definitely way more industry. Like construction over here, you got a dump truck right there. That's how you know there's industry around, when there's a dump truck just driving around. Ljubljana, Yugoslavia. Now, one good indication that you've reached the more industrial part of town is that there's a big building with petrol written on it. It's Pogačar, the best cyclist in all of Slovenia and second best in the Tour de France 2022.
After Jumbo Visma.
As we journey on towards this war memorial, the neighborhoods are becoming much more residential. Got all these apartment complexes out here. I was reading on the internet that during World War II, Ljubljana was part of Slovenia, obviously, part of Yugoslavia, and then it was invaded by Italy. And when Italy fell in 1943, it was basically run by the Nazis. And in order to make sure that the city was secured, the Nazis surrounded the entire city with barbed wire. So shout out to Ljubljana for staying strong through all that. You have this nice decrepit building over there, and then they just blocked it with billboards so you can't see. Why fix the building when you can just hide it? Now this is what I'm talking about here. And with that, we have reached the Žale Cemetery, which is where the 1991 Slovenian War Memorial is. Let's go check it out. The Alps. I'm not really sure where to go now. Looking up where it is. This has to be one of the biggest cemeteries in all of Slovenia. This is a memorial to all of the civilians that were killed in World War II. You can see there's people depicted as suffering in the middle of what almost looks like barbed wire. I don't know if that's what it is because the city was surrounded by barbed wire. Maybe that's not what it means, but nonetheless, it's all of the people who suffered during the Second World War in Slovenia and elsewhere as well. And this is a monument to all of the Russian soldiers who died defending and liberating Slovenia in both the First and Second World War. So this is a thank you to the Russian soldiers who fought in Slovenia and helped to liberate the country. To the sons of Russia and the Soviet Union who were killed on Slovenian land in the First and Second World War. Look at that, my Slovenian reading skills are improving. Didn't even need to translate anything. And we continue on. And with that, we've really reached the edge of Ljubljana here. There's just countryside and some towns over there with some mountains in the background. So we've made it to the northeast edge of the city, and hopefully we get to see some more corners of it later. And who would have knew, here in Ljubljana, they grow corn. Knee-high by the 4th of July, that's what they say. So I've chosen to do my monologue here at the War Memorial of the 1991 10-day Slovenian War. I just wanted to talk about all of the different empires and countries that Ljubljana has been a part of, because it truly has changed hands a ton of times over the years. From the city's founding as it is today, it was a part of the kingdom or whatever of Salzburg in Austria, and then it became a part of the Habsburg monarchy, then it became part of the Austrian Empire, and then finally in the early 1800s it became a part of France for 4 years when Napoleon ravaged Europe. Then it went back to the Austrian Empire, which then merged with Hungary and became the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Finally, after World War I, it became a part of, for 1 year, the state of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes. And then until World War II, it was part of the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, at which point it was annexed into Italy in World War II. And then it became a part of Nazi Germany for 2 years. And then finally, from 1945 to 1991, it was part of the socialist state of Yugoslavia. So all of those different things. And then finally, in 1991, Slovenia declared its independence. And then it was during that Declaration of Independence that the 10-day war broke out. Yugoslavia attacked Slovenia, trying to keep it within the country of Yugoslavia, but the Slovenian forces repelled them. They had a bunch of military victories, and ultimately Yugoslavia decided that its interests lay elsewhere. So they eventually, on July 7th, 32 years ago today, 1991, they signed an agreement saying that Slovenia could become its own independent nation. And this monument is commemorating the 40 or so Slovenian soldiers who died during that war, finally giving Slovenia and Ljubljana their own state, their own Slovene state, which we're able to explore today. So this monologue is dedicated to these 40 names behind me who died for the independence of Slovenia. So thank you to them. And with that, we've completed 1.5 of our tasks. We're on the way to 10 points. It's about 11 a.m. in the morning. We have 11,000 steps. How many do you have?
12,000.
12,000, because she did some walking while I was sitting down. See, this is the difficulty with filming, is I start filming something and then she keeps doing laps. We're about to cross this city from northeast to who knows where.
I'm going to the castle.
Come with us. Yeah, we're going to the castle now. Never take marble for granite. It's time to put on sunscreen. The neck is always the worst for me. It is 11:26 a.m. and I've hit my steps goal for the day, which is set at 14,000. So we're going strong at 14,000 steps. And it's not even noon yet. And with that, we've made it back to some charted territory. We're by the train station again. So back there, we crossed under the railroad tracks, which divide the north and south of the city. And it's crazy to me how distinctly different the neighborhood in the north and in the south of the city are. It feels like the entire north part of the city was built like during Yugoslav times, at least the buildings that are there now. Whereas in this neighborhood, you have more of these like aesthetically pleasing buildings that you would see maybe in Croatia as well. This more European type feel. There's more trees. It feels just a bit more, I don't know, what word would you describe this neighborhood as? Quaint?
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah, it's a quaint little neighborhood. Whereas the one just on the other side of the railroad tracks is more industrial. And with that, we have hit 12 o'clock noon. We are halfway done with the day. But we're only 4 hours into our walking and we're already at 17,000 steps. And look at this cute little dam waterfall thing. Very pretty. Lunchtime on a Friday, but that does not stop this street from being quiet. Well, we've reached our next target, which is this castle. So we're gonna have to walk up some stairs. Get ready for some exercise. The ascent begins. Imagine how old these streets are. Imagine this during the plague in the Middle Ages. That would have sucked.
Poop on the ground.
With poop on the ground all over. It's steep, but there's shade, which is great. All things considered, not bad. Ljubljana is the Paris of Slovenia. What other city in Slovenia is more like Paris than this one? I can't think of one. We made it to 20k steps, just like that. We're 1/5 of the way to our goal. They were pretty strategic about where they built this thing. I would not have wanted to attack this castle back in the day. And with that, we've cleared another goal.
Hey.
And with that, we've cleared another goal. Which one are we gonna get next? Stay tuned and find out.
Let's take a photo.
This is the old penitentiary of the castle. Imagine being thrown in prison up here, like 300 years ago, and this is your whole space. Probably were multiple people in this little room. Oh, here's the menu. On Wednesday, the meal here was 3.5 mugs of barley porridge. That's terrible. We need to get a view of this city. From up here you can get a sense of the scale of Ljubljana. It's not a huge city, 300,000 people. But here it is in almost its entirety. It continues around that way a bit as well. What are your thoughts on the city from above?
It's cool.
Now it's time to go fill our stomachs and maybe even check off a challenge along the way. The descent. It's really crazy. Once you get hungry and you still have to keep walking, the hunger just consumes your mind. But this nice special surprise lunch will help. The mouse. The market of Ljubljana. It's a big one. Stay tuned because later we're gonna go see that building. If that is not the biggest, brutalist architectural piece here in Ljubljana, I don't know what is. We'll be back here soon. Behind me here is the Slovenian National Opera. It's very pretty on the outside. One can only assume it's also pretty on the inside. Beethoven Street. Now what you've all been waiting for, probably the reason why you clicked on this video. How is McDonald's in Slovenia? Let's find out together. Yeah, cheesy spinach snack, the zeljanica. They have a spinach and cheeseburger. You want to try that?
Yeah, sure. They have shrimp.
I don't want shrimp from here. The pita, the blueberry pita. Now let us indulge. What do you want to do first? Let's start with the waffle fries because they're right here. The US McDonald's should have this. That should be a lot. Chili sauce too.
I think it's sweet and sour.
Let's try the spinach and cheese. This is their version of a veggie burger, and it's made out of spinach with cheese.
Thoughts?
It's okay.
If I was vegetarian, I'd be very happy with that. Want to try these?
I want to try the snack.
I like this stuff.
It's good.
Just like a mozzarella stick with spinach.
And so that meal was good, but now we got this pita with blueberry and cream cheese.
How is it?
Quite pleasant. That's a bomb snack. This has been our McDonald's meal. We'll see you on the outside. And with that, we are fed. Mia has hit 25,000 steps. I'm right behind her, 24,800. McDonald's was okay. And we're at 3.5 goals. Stick around. We're about to take a little break and then we're right back on it. Whew, all right, it is 3:26 p.m. We're 27,000 steps in, more or less. We made the major power move of taking a nap. Mia slept for about 30 minutes. I slept for 10 or 15 minutes. And I gotta say, I could not possibly feel better. Another big development, we got some information from the worker at our hostel, and there is a Balkan Store that is just to the east of here, where they should have some Yupi. Now it turns out that after the collapse of Yugoslavia, Yupi was bought by a Croatian company. So even though it's originally Slovenian, now it's Croatian technically, so that might be why they don't have it in very many places here. So we're gonna go check over there, see if they have it, and hopefully at this Balkan Store, we can find a speaker of Hrvatski, Bosnian, Srpski, Crnogorski, whatever. So that's our plan right now. We're hopping over there and hopefully we can tick off 2 birds with 1 stone.
They should name that language.
I mean, they call it Serbo-Croatian, but that's not very inclusive of the Bosnians and the Montenegrins. The train station of Slovenia, of Ljubljana that is. Here we are, the Balkan Grill and the Balkan Shop. Sending us into the back of this interesting looking building here. The Balkan Shop.
Ja sam radim tu.
Da. Ali ne znaš gdje možemo možda naći ovaj Yupi?
Ena trgovina, ena fužina, Meri. Prav bosanska.
Okay, hvala vam.
Mogoče dobite.
Okay.
Ja se izvinjavam.
If they have something, they should have.
Yeah, that's possible. Basically, she made me delete the footage of us going in the Balkan Store, but she's from Bosnia, so we checked one off the list. They did not have Yupi. She was not happy that I was filming. I don't think she really cared, but there was a kid working, so maybe because of that. And also she said that the boss doesn't like when people film in there. But we accomplished one of our goals. I don't know if we're gonna find Yupi in this country, guys. But that's okay, we're gonna try our best for everything else. but she really did not want us filming in there. She made me delete the video of us going in there, so you guys will not get to see what the Balkan Store looks like on the inside. And perhaps the biggest failure of all in there was that they did not have Yupi, and she didn't even really know what it was. So I don't know, like I just had it at Sanad's house one time in Utica because his dad imports it. So I figured that it would just be all over Slovenia. Now apparently it's Croatian. I've never even seen it in the Balkans, so it might be tough to get that goal. But now we're gonna go see some more fun stuff in Ljubljana. We're gonna go see the old square of the Republic, the old communist square, and see some brutal architecture, and hopefully find a monument of Tito. On the bright side, we've made it to Hrvatski Trg, or Croatian Square. Shout out to Croatia. This is your square. St. Peter's Church. Some nice art. This dude, Jesus. It's starting to get hot. Major update, 4:09 p.m. We are not only now past 30,000 steps, we've also just crossed a half marathon, 21.1 kilometers. This is such a cute street. They got shops, hostels, people frolicking about, Austro-Hungarian architecture with a nice graffiti flair to it. It's Lebanese food. Mia's Lebanese. I'm gonna get a coffee quick. Wow, that was fast. Cold coffee on a hot day. And here we are, in the infamous Square of the Republic. It used to be called the Square of the Revolution during Yugoslav times. And it was right in this square, right outside the Slovenian Parliament, which is one of those buildings over there, where independence was declared from Yugoslavia on June 25th, 1991. Prior to 1960, this area was gardens. It was a green space or what have you. And then in the early 1960s, the Slovenian government decided that they wanted to showcase how beautiful and powerful their socialist rule was. And so plans were developed to turn this into the Square of the Revolution. A famous Slovenian architect by the name of Edvard Ravnikar was given the project. And he decided that he was going to build 2 tall buildings over 100 meters tall and put them here next to each other. Well, after 3 years of construction, the towers were half finished, and then the project had to be halted because of budget concerns. And so we ended up with this. After 13 years of total construction, we have these 2 towers standing brilliantly next to each other, each with different weird shapes on the top. This one is 60 meters tall, and this one is 69 meters tall. This one is the home of the Bank of Ljubljana, and this one is general office space. It also houses some embassies. And would you just look at how beautifully brutal these 2 buildings are. Here, as in many other places, is a monument to the revolution, the Yugoslav Communist Revolution. Remembering the revolution, Ljubljana, 1975. It's quite a piece, if I do say so myself. And here you have what is inevitably a monument to the workers and the revolutionaries of Yugoslavia. TR3. And over there is TR2. They wanted to portray the futuristic beauty of socialist architecture. And did they succeed? Me, I think so. And we're about to get a drink, and then we're gonna go over to this park here. It's right in front of the parliament, and there's so many different monuments there. One of them has to be about our boy Tito. Nope. 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 Nope and nope. No. No. And no. No Tito to be found. For one of the most famous Slovenes of all time, you would think that they have at least a little bit more commemorating this dude in this city. They have Slovenia Street over here. They seem to love Slovenia in this country. "5:43 p.m., 37,000 steps, and we've entered the park of Ljubljana, the Tivoli Park. This park takes up a massive portion of the city. It's on the west side, and we're just gonna walk around this on grass and trails, which will be much nicer on the feet and legs. I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty nice. There's people everywhere, just cooling, not too many people. There's shade everywhere. It's not asphalt. It's a nice place to walk, a nice place to be. Come to this park if you ever find yourself in Ljubljana. We've reached the lake of the park. Time to test our filter and get a point. You got it. Do you want to do the honors?
There's so much in there. No.
Okay, we're gonna test the filter for the first time. Here we go. Tastes fine. Tastes a little bit like plastic because of this thing.
Show them the like microorganisms swimming in this.
Yeah, look at all the little things in there.
It does taste plasticky.
This has been today's wilderness survival, and I think that gives us 6.5 points now.
Yay!
And now we hope that that water doesn't make us sick, and we walk some more through the park. It's all the best buildings we've seen today in one shot. Feudalism, communism. How's it smell?
Not delicious.
Izvinite, gospodine. Znate li koliko je sati? All right, there's good news and great news. The good news is that we've hit 40,000 steps at 6:20 p.m. And the great news is that now we're sitting down, which feels amazing on our legs. Mia's ankle and toe are both in pain, but she's a real trooper. And I said, listen, we don't have to do this. Like, it's not worth getting 50,000 steps if you're just gonna get injured. But she's like, no, I'm gonna get injured for the team.
I'm not gonna get injured.
Inshallah. All right, so we just chilled for like 15 minutes, felt great on the legs, took the shoes off, and we have some great news. We did some research on the internet, and we found out that the statue in Revolution Square, which is now the square of the Republic, the statue of the partisans, Tito was in there. So Tito was the lead guy. I wasn't 100% sure, so I didn't want to say anything at the time and make a false claim, but I'll flash it on the screen now, or we'll go back and check it out. But yeah, we have indeed found a Tito statue. There actually was some drama about commemorating a street for Tito in like 2010. And the Supreme Court of Slovenia ruled that it wasn't constitutional to name a street after Tito because of some of the atrocities that were committed during the communist regime. Of course, yes, he does represent the liberation of the country from the fascists, but he also represents oppression and authoritarianism. So there are no streets in Ljubljana named after Tito. However, in Jesenice, we did see that there was one. Nonetheless, we found a Tito statue today, and we'll go back there and show it. So now we're at 6.5 points. Oh, and 6.5 points. So we're getting there. We're at a passing grade now in American schools. I think we broke Mia. The ankle brace is coming back out.
Can you see?
Looks like she's also got some heat rash from the ankle brace. That's cool. We have decided that we're gonna venture out of the park. We need to eat dinner, and Mia still has to tell you her monologue about Ljubljana history. We're starting to get to know these streets like the back of our hands. Going back over to our old friends. Tito. I got nervous at the Tito statue and I didn't really do much talking because there were two dudes sitting there drinking a beer, and they were going to roast me if I started spewing off some communist history, so I kept it quiet. This is the struggle of a travel vlogger. The sun is starting to set, but our spirits are not. And finally, we're back at the building of Nebotičnik. That building up there was built in 1933, and at the time it was the tallest building in the entire Balkan Peninsula. Just admire this building in all its glory. It's got the cool architecture up top. It's got that lady statue thing. I don't think Mia likes the building because I just had to stop and film it for like 5 minutes, and I keep talking about it. But I think it's a great building.
He's in love with it.
I do love the building. One of my favorite buildings I've seen. City of the people. About to have some yum yum in our tum-tums, that's for sure. 12 hours ago, when we started this vlog right over here, did you think that 45,000 steps later we would still be going strong? To all of those who did, shout out to you. Ljubljana is popping out here on this fine Friday night, and the food stands are still here, so we are going to eat good. If you like street food, then this is for you. There's Slovenian barbecue, there's every other country's barbecue. I don't know what to do, there's too many options. First thing, Slovenian cevapi. I should hold the camera up here more, right? You guys think this is better shot? Yeah. The bread is a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, I agree.
But the rest of it is good.
The bread tastes good, but if it was fresh, it would be so much better.
All right, we switched to a higher angle and we got this hot dog. I don't know what's on it. I think there's barbecue sauce. Good, better than the cevapi. And it has caramelized onion, which is one of the best things in the world. On the hunt for some dessert now. Peep this, we got Nutella, we got applesauce, and we got fried whatever this is.
It's hard to make it bad.
Pretty excellent, yeah. Wait. 3,300 steps to go. Now it's time for Mia to serenade you with some historical facts about Ljubljana.
Welcome everyone to my promised monologue. We're standing in front of the Dragon Bridge, which is because Ljubljana's image is this dragon. Well, there's many different theories as to why that's the case, but the one that I like the most, because I was a Percy Jackson fan, was the tale of Jason and the Golden Fleece. So Jason stole the fleece from this man in Greece, and then while escaping, he took the Danube River and then took another offset on the Ljubljana River to end up reaching Ljubljana, and there he had to fight a dragon or a monster. And it is believed that Jason was the first inhabitant of Ljubljana. So that's why they have these dragons here.
Dragging these nuts. One last look at the crown jewel of the Ljubljana skyline. And now with 7 points out of 10 down, we rejoin our heroes just north of the Sava River, making their final push for the last 2,500 steps. This is the headquarters of Radio Televizija Slovenia. If you ever hear a Slovenian broadcast, there's a good chance that it comes from here. Mountain. Want to do this again tomorrow? This and this are the tallest buildings in the whole country of Slovenia. That's pretty insane if you ask me. The people of Ljubljana and maybe Slovenia more generally, I don't know, do not ever jaywalk. Like, Slovenians, tell me in the comments, is this just part of the culture? Is there a big fine? Is it enforced? Because every other culture I've ever been to, at least in Europe and the US, they jaywalk everywhere. So what's good here? Yeah, if there's no sign of life, Like, people still don't cross if the light is red, which it kind of scares me a little bit. Nobody's going. What a responsible culture. And with that, we have less than 1,000 steps to go until we hit 50,000. One last look at our favorite building, Nebotičnik, which I recently learned means skyscraper in Slovenian. Back in 1933, this was a skyscraper. And as we head back towards the center, we have less than 500 steps to go. Look at all the people who have come to celebrate with us our 50,000 steps. 200 steps to go. Would you look at that? It's a bit dark, but that's okay. Our spirits aren't. And
20.
Mia doesn't know how to count backwards from
10,
20.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
50,000. And the crowd goes wild. Let's go. We did it. Now, I have one question for you. Did you have fun today?
I had a lot of fun today.
I had fun today too, which puts us at 9 out of 10. Thank you for coming along with us today. Thank you for coming along with us in Slovenia. It's been a great adventure. We got 9 out of 10 today, and I blame Sanad for importing Yupi to the US and making us think that it was just going to be everywhere in Slovenia. If any Slovenians know where I could find some in Slovenia or just anywhere, I'd love to know for next time. But I just wanted to say that if you are watching 30 minutes of us walk around this city, then you probably enjoy the video somewhat. So it would really mean a lot if you did subscribe. I don't often ask this at the end of these videos, but every once in a while it's okay. So thank you very much for sticking around, and until the next adventure, cheers.
Cheers.